No one noticed it at first. There was no parade, no breaking news banners, just a quiet certificate handed over from a Russian official to Burkina Faso's revolutionary president, Ibrahim Traoré. But behind that simple gesture, of a mobile anti-epidemic lab gifted by Moscow, lurks a series of silent questions with seismic consequences. Why now? Why this lab? And why Burkina Faso? For a continent historically treated as a testing ground for vaccines, experiments, and geopolitics, this wasn't just a medical donation. It was a symbol of trust, rebellion, and shifting alliances. The lab doesn't sit in a white-tiled hospital ward. It moves, on wheels, into villages, forests, and conflict zones. Designed to hunt pathogens like Ebola, dengue, Lassa, and things most people can't pronounce but fear like catastrophe. But what's more unnerving? This lab can process over 800 tests a day, detect over 20 infectious agents, and run in the middle of nowhere. It was developed by Rospotrebnadzor, Russia's elite federal body for consumer protection and disease control. So what really happened when Russia handed over that lab, and what's the ulterior motive? In this video, let's find out. Russia's move to gift Burkina Faso a mobile biolab is not simply about medicine. It represents a profound shift in how power is exercised on the African continent. On the surface, it appears to be humanitarian assistance, helping a nation in the Sahel region improve its ability to detect and respond to dangerous outbreaks. But look deeper, and a more complex picture emerges. Russia is stepping into an area where Western powers, despite decades of presence, have often failed to create self-reliant systems. Instead of just sending vaccines or funding temporary health missions, Russia has delivered an entire mobile laboratory, technology that can operate without outside validation and without requiring samples to be shipped overseas for analysis. This alone sends a message that resonates deeply in Africa, particularly given historical memories of neglect during health crises. One such memory still lingers: the Ebola outbreak of 2014. While thousands of West Africans died and families were torn apart, experimental treatments existed but were withheld. The only time an experimental therapy was rushed into action was when an American missionary, Kent Brantley, contracted the virus. The U.S. government scrambled a specialized aircraft to retrieve him and administered a treatment that had never been tested on humans before. They were told there was no cure, no treatment, no hope until Brantley received one. He was given an experimental serum, never before tested on humans, not approved by regulatory agencies, yet it saved him. It was a breakthrough, but only for one man. For the thousands of West Africans suffering at the same time, there was nothing. That episode sent a chilling message to Africa. Life-saving treatments existed, but they were not meant for Africans. It reinforced the long-standing belief that the continent's value to the global health system is often as a source of data and testing grounds, not as a beneficiary of innovation. It's this context that makes Russia's gift so symbolically powerful. The lab is not tethered to any Western institution, nor does it require external approval before performing tests. It is, in essence, mobile sovereignty on wheels. Burkina Faso, which has vast rural areas that are hard to access with conventional health infrastructure, can now deploy testing capabilities directly to outbreak zones. Instead of transporting patients or waiting for samples to be sent to Europe for analysis, a process that often takes days or even weeks, the lab can travel to the site, conduct up to 800 tests a day, and provide real-time results on dangerous pathogens such as Ebola, Marburg, Lassa fever, and Crimean Congo hemorrhagic fever. Further, beyond the raw capacity of these labs, the psychological effect is equally significant. For decades, African nations have been forced to rely on former colonial powers for critical diagnostic information, sometimes even waiting for decisions on how to respond to outbreaks based on foreign lab results. In some cases, data collected from African samples was never returned to African governments, leaving them dependent and vulnerable. By hosting their own advanced diagnostic unit, Burkina Faso gains not only speed in responding to outbreaks, but also ownership of sensitive health data, a subtle but critical shift toward independence. Before we continue further, tell us, are you enjoying the video? If yes, please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos on Black Africa. Let's continue now. The timing of this move raises further questions. Global awareness of biosecurity has changed dramatically since COVID-19. The pandemic revealed how those who control testing and diagnostics also control the narrative of a crisis. Africa, expected by many global analysts to collapse under COVID-19, defied those predictions. Whether due to demographics, pre-existing immunity, or divine luck, African countries avoided the catastrophic death tolls predicted by Western models. Yet throughout the pandemic, African nations lacked independent diagnostic sovereignty. Samples were often sent abroad, and the information that came back was mediated through external institutions. In other words, Africa did not own its health story. Russia's mobile lab directly addresses this gap. With trained African personnel and mobile infrastructure, outbreaks can be detected and reported locally, cutting out the dependency that has plagued the continent for decades. For the first time, Burkina Faso could diagnose and respond on its own terms, without waiting for foreign labs to confirm or deny what is happening inside its borders. However, every gift carries weight, and this one is no exception. Critics worry about what Russia gains in exchange for this technological assistance. Some view the lab as a potential tool of influence or intelligence collection, raising the question of whether health sovereignty is truly being granted or subtly shifted from one foreign power to another. In a world where biological data and rapid response capabilities can influence political decision-making and even military planning, having Russia's technology embedded in the Sahel may reshape alliances in unpredictable ways. Despite this, Russia's gift of a mobile laboratory carries such symbolic weight. It isn't just a box of wires and test tubes. It represents, at least on the surface, a reversal of the old paradigm. No longer would Africa need to send samples abroad, waiting for foreign institutions to determine its fate. With its own mobile lab, Burkina Faso could test, diagnose, and respond on its own terms. For a continent still carrying the scars of the Ebola response, that autonomy feels revolutionary. Yet, every gift in geopolitics carries a shadow. Why would Russia give away advanced medical infrastructure for free? In diplomacy, nothing is ever free, not even kindness. Russia's motivations extend beyond humanitarianism. It seeks African allies in the United Nations, votes to back its positions on the global stage, and opportunities to replace the declining French influence in the Sahel. These are not small ambitions. Military bases, mining concessions, trade corridors, and political loyalty are often negotiated quietly behind such gifts. A mobile diagnostic lab is not just a tool for fighting outbreaks. It is a foot in the door of national security infrastructure. Whoever controls a country's diagnostic systems, especially in emergencies, holds influence over how fast and how publicly that country can respond. Emergencies, in international relations, are leverage points, and leverage points are gold mines. Even if the Russian move is entirely benevolent, another question lingers. Can Africa maintain this technology? History is full of examples of well-intentioned aid that collapses from neglect. Solar panels donated by NGOs gather dust, and expensive medical machines end up as scrap because spare parts and skilled technicians are unavailable. The culture of repair and institutionalized maintenance has often been a weak link. That is why Russia's pledge to train Burkina Faso specialists is as important as the lab itself. For this gift to translate into true sovereignty, Africans must master not just its use, but its upkeep, learning to repair, upgrade, and eventually replicate such technology themselves. A gift only creates dependency if it cannot be sustained without its giver. This lab is also part of a much bigger pattern. Uganda received a similar unit in 2024, and Russia's health agency, Rospotrebnadzor, has announced plans for additional deployments across Africa. This is not an isolated donation. It's a deliberate strategy to establish a continent-wide biomedical footprint. Now, the timing is curious. Why the sudden urgency for mobile epidemic response? Why now, when no major new outbreak has yet shaken the region? Do the Russians know something that has not been made public? Is there an undisclosed emerging health threat? Or is this simply long-term positioning in an era where biological events can reshape global politics overnight? Burkina Faso now finds itself at a critical crossroads, standing between gratitude and strategic caution. On one hand, this lab has the potential to save lives and end decades of dependency on foreign laboratories. On the other hand, it could subtly shift allegiances, embedding foreign influence deeper under a new flag. It could empower Africans to take charge of their health systems or quietly bind them to Russia's geopolitical orbit. What is certain is that this was no ordinary donation. It was a choice to either continue waiting for solutions to arrive from abroad or to begin detecting, diagnosing, and deciding for themselves. In that quiet ceremony where Russia handed over the certificate for the lab, something bigger than technology was exchanged: sovereignty, responsibility, and an unspoken shift in Africa's place in the global order. But as the world watches, one question lingers in the air. What really happened behind that handshake, and what future did it set in motion? What do you think? Why did Russia choose Burkina Faso, and why now, when epidemics are not at their peak? Is it because something mysterious is coming? What does Russia know about future outbreaks that others don't? In the comment section below, share your thoughts on what the West will do now that Russia has placed a high-tech health asset right in the Sahel. Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If yes, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon next to it. We bring videos on Black Africa, its history, rich arts and culture, and things the world should know about. Thanks for watching, and until the next video, stay tuned.